The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the very special edition of Vixens Who Rule. It's a special edition because it's all dudes. There's no Vixens on the show today because this is the third time we're doing this. And listen, when this guy comes on, I'll be honest with you, I stop the world and get off. I just get off of the world. I sit on every word that he has to say. It's almost, I don't want to compare Razorfist to the Bible, but I think some of the things he says are very biblical. So I listen to every word he says. I sit on the edge of my seat, and I know Jeff Lane is just as big a mark as I am for Razor. Is that right, Jeff?
Oh, absolutely. The best thing about Razor is you can go into a Razorfist video or a conversation like we do, and like he'll just tell you stuff, and you're like, yep, absolutely, I agree with that.
That's it. I'll agree with that.
I didn't even know I liked that, but I now like it.
And then going forward, you've changed your life to revolve around what Razorfist thinks and feels. I mean, let's face it. Razor, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing capital, good sir. I am fantastic. Are you sure you want to use me as the religion and not the smarks that are always tweeting angry things at you on Twitter? Are you
Razor,
sure?
I'm so happy you brought that up and not me. Because Razor, here's my latest pet peeve of the day, and I'd like to get your words of wisdom on this. Okay? Bro, at what point did the Nimrods, whatever you want to call them, I'm sure you got different names for them, on the internet, at what point did they start covering wrestling matches, writing the blow-by-blow descriptions of every single move like this was a real boxing match or a real MMA match? This is a work. These matches are not taking place. Everything is laid out and choreographed. Razor, at what point did they start reporting on these matches with blow-by-blow descriptions?
Maybe one of them snuck a peek at one of DDP's little printouts from before the matches. Maybe that's what happened there. You don't know about that with DDP?
No, what are we talking about here, Ray? Give us the wisdom, bro.
This is common knowledge. DDP was one of the wrestlers he would apparently. Now this is kind of urban legend, so I'm not sure if it's apocryphal or not. But from what I understand, DDP was a wrestler who would actually, before the match, would actually decide what move by move what the match was going to be. He would print it out on like shitty 90s printer paper, and he would hand it to his opponent so they could memorize it. And it was like really like most wrestlers do not work that way, apparently.
Yeah. Hey, Razor, as a matter of fact, I was there for Shane McMahon's very first match when he did the exact same thing to Sean Waltman. He literally did that. Razor, what do you think about these idiots that cover these fake matches blow by blow, bro?
All I can say is I know exactly how I feel about smarks. Like, okay, what I don't get, I think I regard them in much the same way as I do when someone is like complaining about Raw, complaining about and yet they're still watching.
Right.
I hate this show. It's so mediocre. Well, they wouldn't be mediocre if you hadn't been accepting mediocrity for the last 15 years. You know what I mean? And every single time they lay into you, you just want to turn to them and say, "Hey, thanks for weighing in there, Festus. Like, it's always good to hear from the shallow end of the gene pool."
Hey, Razor, before you came on here, like, I got into this argument, like, on Friday night. Jeff was just telling me about it this morning on some of the comments, this on. What about, Razor, I consider you an entertainment guy. I mean, look at your office, bro. You know heavy metal. You know movies. You are an entertainment guy. You're an entertainment giant. What do you think, Razor, about these people that, obviously, bro, the Raw rating has gone from a 6.2 to a 2.2, and now all of a sudden, Razor, I don't know if you know this or not, but in 2015, television ratings no longer matter. What do you think about these people?
Right, because apparently the only thing that matters is the buy rates for the network, which also are garbage. You notice every single time you hear about the WWE Network numbers, you only ever hear about it around WrestleMania time, right, when people will actually own it. like you never hear the WWE Network numbers in August You know what I mean? They make sure that doesn't happen.
But Razor, what about this television? We're doing our thing on TV here. We're going to do the top 5 Vixens in the history of television. But what about ratings don't matter in television anymore, Razor? When did this happen?
Really? I hadn't heard that with The Walking Dead. That's odd.
Yeah,
That's strange.
Yeah, well.
Seems like there's probably HBO programs that are pulling in higher ratings than WWE right now. I got infomercials that are pulling. Raymond reruns are pulling in higher numbers than WWE.
Hey, bro, I'll watch Raymond ahead of the WWE any day of the week, bro. And that is an absolute shoot.
Oh yeah, anybody would rather watch Peter Boyle than
Yes, Peter Boyle.
Jack McDefault in the black trunks with the cowboy book. Yeah, no thanks.
Hey, Razorfist, I'm going to throw a trivia question by you now. Do you know who Peter Boyle was best friends with? You're going to be surprised by this, but think about it. You know Peter Boyle's roots. He's passed away. Rest his soul.
Yeah.
His roots were in New York. He was a New York guy through and through. Do you know who he was best buddies with?
I'm going to take a shot in the dark because I don't know this. Mel Brooks?
No, John Lennon.
John Lennon.
John Lennon and Peter Boyle were like best friends, bro. Yeah.
You know why that's surprising? Have you ever seen the movie Joe?
Of course, that's yo, bro. That's got to be like your top 10.
Oh yeah, he goes around New York just wasting hippies and druggies.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. He's best friends with John Lennon.
Best friends with Lennon. Hey, Jeff, did you ever see that movie Joe? You probably haven't, have you?
No.
Oh, bro, you got to check that movie out. I mean, Razor, what was that like? What was it? Early 70s or late 60s?
It was It was like 68, 69.
Like
it was like super. Yeah, it was one of the first canon movies.
Yeah. And now he went on the vigilante rampage over something with his daughter, right?
His daughter got involved with a shitbag, so he went around New York wasting every shit.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I mean, Jeff, this is before Bronson and Death Wish, and like a real raw version. It's a freaking classic, Joe. Razor, I bet you can't. Can you get that on DVD?
I don't know. I've never seen it. Man, that's a movie that kind of vanished. You don't even see that on TV anymore.
Yeah, man, what a movie. I'll never forget. That was a phenomenal movie.
Yeah,
all right, Razor, we're here to talk about the Vixens Who Rule top 5 in television. Now, we've gone through music. We've gone through movies. Now we got to go through television. Being that you are the special guest, and Jeff and I are honored to have you here, we're going to start with you and your number 5 pick.
All right. This almost isn't in numerical order because all these chicks are just exceptional. But I'm going to go with a young lady by the name of Deborah Ann Woll, she's probably best known for True Blood, but more recently she's been on my favorite show, Daredevil, which is on Netflix, which is absolutely spectacular, by the way. And as far as I'm concerned, she's fantastic in both. I only recently started watching True Blood. It's absolutely horrendous, but she is gorgeous in it, so I'll watch. I mean, whether she's sucking plasma in True Blood or spilling plasma in Daredevil, she's banging, she's a redhead, and her boyfriend is blind, so no complications, right? So, and sadly, she's yet to be filmed in the full-blown buff, but after even a fleeting glance of her ivory flesh, let's just say it's not my radar sense that's tingling. And best of all, beyond being a ginger goddess, the bitch can actually act. Like, convincingly. She can convincingly carry scenes that Scarlett Johansson would have fumble-fucked 15 yards from the end zone. So I am totally into Deborah Ann Woll. She can play a vixen, but she's kind of a vulnerable vixen at the same time.
Now, Razor, though, are we basing Deborah Ann Woll strictly on hotness? I have not watched Daredevil, but is she action? Does she get in there? Does she mix it up?
Yeah, she's got a darker side. She wields a gun. She's a vixen. The show is essentially like a modern film noir with a superhero edge, basically.
Got it.
So she's kind of your femme fatale a little bit in the show.
All right. Jeff, number 5.
All right. Well, just like the other lists, I base this only on my experience on shows I've seen. I'm not going to take the typical people are just known for being great vixens, so they made my list. If I haven't watched the show or if I haven't seen them in something, they didn't make my list. So with that said, every single person on my list is from 2000 up till now.
Okay. Mine's the other way, Jeff, if that makes you feel any better.
Yeah, so I'm sure I don't have anybody on this list that you guys have, but this is my top 5. Number 5, I'm going with Anna Torv, and she was from the show Fringe, which is one of my favorite shows of all time, and she played a character by the name of Olivia Dunham, who was an FBI agent, and she's gorgeous, by the way. All these chicks are gorgeous, but she... It was her and 2 other characters on the show that investigated these weird happenings, and she was the badass of the group. If anybody got physical, it was her. She was taking down men bigger than her, pulling out the gun, doing all these crazy things, and she had a really sexy, deep voice accent. I don't know. Deep voice on chicks sometimes turns me on.
Like Caitlyn? Like Caitlyn Jenner?
No. Like Becky Lynch, she's got a deep voice. I like that.
Oh, or one of the chicks on my list has one of those too. But I know exactly the kind of voice you're talking about, and it's almost to a point where it's like, what couldn't a woman say with that purring delivery and not turn you on? Like, you have pancreatic cancer. It's like, yeah, I try.
Now, Razor, do you know who? I don't know this actress because I've never seen Fringe. Are you familiar with who Jeff's talking about?
I've only seen little bits of Fringe, but I know exactly what he's talking about.
Okay, all right, Jeff. So that's your number 5, right?
Yes.
Listen, I'm really going old school here, and I'm a lot older than both of you guys. So I know Razor's gonna laugh at some of my answers, which is part of the reason why he's wearing the sunglasses. But I got a tie for 5th place. Okay. And Razor, I'm coming in here with a tie for 5th, Lucy Lawless. I mean, I don't know how Xena the Princess Warrior can't be on everybody's list. I mean, that's a gimme to me.
Oh, but she was 7 kinds of naked on Spartacus.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, and here's another one. And Razor, I'm going to get into a little bit of the psychology here. But here's another one. You got to throw this in there almost. Linda Carter is Wonder Woman. And Razor, I got to tell you this. Me and you never get personal because you're always too busy ripping other people. I never ask you about, your personal life. I'm sure, the females, forget about it, Razor. I mean, a guy like you, a world-renowned star. But, Razor, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm 54 years old, a man of wisdom. And I'm going to throw this at you too, Jeff. Do you guys know that you never see a girl with black hair and blue eyes that is unattractive? Every girl born with black hair and blue eyes is freaking beautiful, and they're few and far between. There's not a lot out there. So, Razor, what do you think about my tie for 5th?
Yeah, like Rosie O'Donnell. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know if she has blue eyes. I'm not sure.
Razor, why are you killing my theory with Rosie O'Donnell? Come on now, bro.
I haven't vetted it yet. I'm not sure if she has blue eyes, but if she does, that's hilarious.
Now, is Linda Carter and Wonder Woman way too lame to be on your list, Razor?
Not at all, no. And she has aged like fine wine as well.
Yes, she has.
She has aged very well.
Yeah. Jeff, what do you think about those picks?
Well, I mean, the shows you mentioned, I've hardly seen any episodes of Wonder Woman. I never watched Xena, but Lucy Lawless was on Battlestar Galactica, and she was awesome and hot on that. So
yeah.
So that's my take. But like the older superhero shows, the Incredible Hulk with Lou Ferrigno and Wonder Woman and stuff like that. It was kind of like a little bit past when. It came out too soon for me as a child, so I didn't get into it. And by the time I was old enough to like superheroes and stuff, I'd moved on to the movies and other stuff like that. So I never really got into those shows.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you guys, in that same vein, who doesn't make my list is Lindsay Wagner as the Bionic Woman. She doesn't make my list. Razor, what do you think about that?
I think that's a good call.
Too plain Jane, too vanilla for me. Too vanilla, Razor, No. There was no.
We're going for no. There's a difference between a simply attractive woman and a vixen. There is a difference.
Thank you.
Very real difference.
Okay, Jeff, let's go with you with number 4 now.
Okay, number 4, I have Yvonne Strahovski, and I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce her last name, but I first saw her on the TV show Chuck, which is one of my favorite shows of all time, and this girl is tall, blonde, voluptuous, badass. And the cool thing about Chuck and why I think she's a vixen, it's kind of like every nerd's like fantasy. Like, because the character Chuck was a nerd, kind of wimpy when the show started. He was into video games, comic books. He worked at, he was a cell phone guy at a Best Buy type place. But he had this secret government information implanted in his brain. So she was sent by the CIA to protect him. So here's this nerdy kid with this super hot chick that is now his bodyguard. Like, that's a fantasy to me. I would love that. But she was like, she did all these ninja moves, killing people. She was also on 24, the latest season of 24. She was pretty badass on that. And I know she was on Dexter, but I never saw Dexter, so I don't know how she was on that.
And on the video game front, she was in Mass Effect 2.
Yeah, she was. She was Miranda. Great call.
So, okay, so Razor, you're familiar with her. See, I'm not familiar with her either, Jeff.
Yeah, Chuck, I just love Chuck, man. It's one of my favorite shows.
But, Razor, let me throw this in. Again, I'm saying Razor because I'm thinking this is a little bit before Jeff's time, and Razor maybe a little bit before your time, but I know you know everything. When he was just talking about all this information put in, what's his name's mind?
Chuck.
Chuck, like this, what like a spy kind of gimmick?
Yeah, it was called the, now I can't even think of what it was called. It was the secret database that held all the information on every criminal and every organization in the world. And it was implanted in his brain. And so if any criminal got a hold of him, they had all the secrets. So they were trying to, get it out of him. Before they could get it out of him, she was sent to make sure nothing happened to him.
Razor, when he said that, you know what that reminded me of? And I didn't have it on my list now because I didn't think about it. But Razor, you probably remember. Remember Get Smart? Remember Agent 99, Barbara Feldon?
Yeah, and then they made the awful new one with was it Anne Hathaway?
Oh, yeah, the movie, that was terrible. But remember, Barbara Feldon was hot. I know Jeff doesn't know what I'm talking about, right, Jeff?
I've heard of it. I've never seen it, no.
Yeah.
I saw the terrible movie that Razorfist is talking about.
All right, Razor, who's your number 4 now?
All right. I'm going back to the 90s, although she is still smoking hot today. Natasha Henstridge. She's probably best known on television for She Spies. Now, most people will probably remember her for being in a perpetual state of nude in the movie Species, which was kind of like Alien with ass, Invasion of the Booby Snatchers, if you will. Or presently she kind of had a walk-on, whack-off role on Beauty and the Beast, basically. But I vividly recall her starring role in the sort of spy parody turned masturbatory aid known as She Spies. Granted, she is Canadian, but I swear to you, it's uncanny. On camera, you can hardly see her hooves and horns, which is odd because I'd always assumed she was Alaskan, because whenever I see her, all I can think is drill, baby, drill. And if you squeegee the television screen long enough, you'll notice that while Pam Anderson, for example, has the range of a water pistol like on VIP, in She Spies, Natasha Henstridge proved to be actually sort of a competent comedic actress as well. That show was, I think everybody sort of thought it was just another VIP, but it turned out to actually be kind of a funny spy parody show, essentially.
Yeah. Jeff,
but
do you know who
she was fantastic?
Yeah, do you know who he's talking about? I remember her from Species, Razor. She's freaking super hot, bro. You know who he's talking about, Jeff?
Oh, yeah, and she was on one of my favorite shows, Eli Stone, which probably you guys never heard of. It was only on for 2 seasons, but she was on that, yep.
Now, Razor just gave me a backhanded insult without realizing it, because Razor, number 4 on my list is Pamela Anderson as Valerie Irons on VIP. Listen, let's call a spade. She's got to be on the list because she's Pamela Anderson. I'm not looking at her Oscar award-winning or Emmy award-winning, acting chops. I mean, let's face it. She's Pamela Anderson. You tuned into the show to see Pamela Anderson. So, I mean, that's number 4 for me, out of respect. Razor speechless.
No.
Razor, did you just lose all respect for me?
No, not at all, actually. We're gonna have to keep going, but the woman is on my list as well. I had to spoil it now. You see, you ruined everything.
All right. Well, speaking of, let's go on. Now we're getting to the top 3. Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty. So, Razor, let's start with you. Number 3.
Jerry Ribbed Leotard Ryan. And every Star Trek fan just furiously nodded approval in unison. At least I think that's why their heads are bobbing up and down. When Jerry Ryan's character 7 of 9 was first introduced to Star Trek Voyager, which was kind of flagging at the time, every solitary Trekkie, Trekker, Amtrek, whatever the fuck they call themselves these days, male and female, was far more interested in having a 6 of 9. From the oh-so-practical for space exploration spiked heels that she was walking around in perpetually, to that practiced air of chilly indifference, to that weird, like, chewed-up gray wad of bubblegum taped above her eyelid. I don't know what the hell that was about. And lest we forget the subatomically tight purple body condom they buttered her buxom ass into every taping. She was just scorching. And as an aside, I think back in the early 2000s, she spilled some secrets about her husband, the politician Jack Ryan's sort of deviant sexual proclivities in sex clubs in the Chicago area, causing him to drop from the race and default it to his political opponent. And that candidate's name? Barack Obama. She helped elect our president.
You know, I don't know. Do you know who this is, Jeff?
Sorry, my washer was making noise again, so I muted my microphone. Yes, I know who she is. I've never been into Star Trek, but I know who she is.
Well, she wasn't just on Star Trek. She was on Boston Public as well.
Wasn't she also Sonya in that Mortal Kombat series? One of the Mortal Kombat web series. I think she played Sonya.
We won't talk about that.
Am I right? It was her, though, right?
I don't know who this girl is, but I'm very interested. Can you repeat the line about something with the buttery? What did you say? Can you please repeat that for me?
I said they buttered her buxom ass into that subatomically tight purple body condom.
Yeah, see, now I've got to go look that up now on YouTube just for that reference.
Everyone, it was hilarious because it was so transparently to get more boys to watch. Because every other woman on the show is just wearing a Star Trek uniform. You know, if a girl's got a good body, like Dax on Deep Space Nine, for example, yeah, they look pretty hot in a Star Trek uniform. But then she's walking around full body like onesie that's so tight it's bonding with her on the subatomic level. Just not even pretending that they're not doing it to get the preteens to watch.
All right, Jeff, who do you got coming in at third?
Number 3, I have Keri Russell, and this is not for Felicity Keri Russell. This is for the Americans Keri Russell, which is it's the same actress, but I'm basing this solely on her performance on the Americans. It's on FX currently. It's one of my favorite shows on television. It's about Russian spies living in the U.S. in the 80s, and she's one of the most badass characters I've seen on TV in this show, and she's believable. Totally. I'm like, wow, this is Keri Russell, and she's kicking butt.
Yeah, Jeff, you've mentioned this before on one of our shows. You've talked about this show, and you talked about Keri Russell before. Is this show still on?
Yeah. I believe season 4 will be starting in January or February.
And what network is it on?
FX.
FX. Razor, have you seen Keri Russell in The Americans?
I haven't.
But you know who Keri Russell is, right?
Is it the chick from Felicity?
Yeah,
yes.
With all the hair, with all the curly hair gimmick.
Yeah. I certainly know who she is.
Yeah. All right, we're going to have to check that out, Jeff, because I've not seen her on that show.
Yeah, it's badass, man.
Okay, I'm going to give you my number 3, and this is really iconic. It really is. I mean, when you look at the facts, because a lot of people don't realize this, and it's very iconic. I have number 3. And this was tough. The top 3 were really tough, but I have as number 3. You got to put Farrah Fawcett in there as in Charlie's Angels, and he is the main reason why. And Jeff, I know you don't even realize this because you're a lot younger than me, bro. You know, like we all know Farrah Fawcett, we all know the poster, we all know she was in Charlie's Angels, we all know that. But Jeff, do you know she was only in Charlie's Angels for the first season? That was it, bro. 1 year. She was in Charlie's Angels for 1 year. And I mean, and everybody, what was that, 70? Razor, that's probably like 77 maybe, I'm going to guess. But
late 70s, and that hairstyle dragged on into the 80s. It was crazy.
40 years later, bro, a girl that did one season of television. I mean, you still talk about it 40 years later. I mean, Razor, I don't know how I could have kept Farrah off this list.
No. Yeah, no, I completely understand. She's not on mine, but undoubtedly a TV vixen.
Yeah. Jeff, what are your comments on that?
I mean, I know who she is. I've never really seen anything with her in it, though.
Yeah, Charlie's Angels, epic. All right, Jeff, let's go with you in number 2.
Did Razor give number 3?
Yeah, he did, right, Razor? Yeah, the Star Trek chick was your third.
Okay,
yeah.
all right, okay. Number 2, I have Katee Sackhoff from Battlestar Galactica, the remake, which is another one of, it's probably my second, maybe third favorite show of all time.
Yeah.
She played a character called Starbuck, and there was a lot of classic Battlestar Galactica fans who were upset with this character casting because Starbuck was a male in the original series, in the 70s, early 80s. So they cast her, they changed the character to female, originally got backlash. I never saw the original series, so I had no feelings going into this, but I think she's one of the most dominant female characters of all time. She looked gorgeous. She gave no Fs in the show. It's funny because she was also in the Bionic Woman remake that flopped in 2007. You mentioned Bionic Woman earlier. But yeah, I just love her from that show, man.
See, now I got to ask you this, Jeff, and I'm going to pose this question to both you and Razor. Now, both you and Razor, you had somebody in the top 5 list from, the sci-fi genre. So now I got to ask you, are they fooling you? Does a lot of these picks have to do with the costuming, that these women wore in the sci-fi genre? It's usually like Razor said, they got what is it, buttery who? Would they give me the butter gimmick again, Razor?
They got to butter their buxom ass into that subatomically tight onesie.
Yeah, now, so did you get sucked into the costuming here,
No,
Jeff?
but she did.
Yeah.
No. Like the costumes were like military style stuff, and the guys wore the same thing. I mean, she was wearing the T-shirts with the wife beater over it, and in the dog heads.
What was that? Why am I blanking on the blonde chick's name?
Tricia Helfer.
Yeah, Tricia Helfer. There we are.
Yeah.
She was the one that everyone.
The list too. Yeah.
She was the one that everyone fixated on when the show first came out.
Yeah.
And as I remember, speaking of Mass Effect 2 earlier, she eventually was the voice of the computer in that game.
Yep.
And it was hilarious. There was a brilliant Easter egg in there. There was a game mechanic where, to get resources, you had to shoot a probe into a planet, right? And every single time you would shoot a probe, she would say, launching probe, like over and over again, right? As many times as you shot a probe. It was ridiculous. And so you could go back to our solar system where the planet Uranus was. And you could shoot a probe. You can see where I'm going with this already.
Nice. Yeah.
And she immediately, the moment you launch the probe, she goes, really? You're going to make me say it? Then you launch the probe again and labored breath. Probing Uranus.
Oh, no. Hey, Razor, I'm looking around your room. One of these days, we have to have a Razorfist behind-the-scenes special. I just want you to walk us through the room, because one of the things I'm really intrigued by, Razor, I guess it would be your left. Bro, what's that poster up there in the corner to your left? The other way. Look the other way. Yeah, that up there, up top in the corner. What is that?
Which one?
The one up top. The one up top where there's about 5 or 6 guys in there. One looks like a kid.
Oh, I see. No. That's Accept. That's the 80s heavy metal band Accept.
The one up there in the corner, up to you. It looks like there's a little kid in there all the way to the left. No?
Yeah, that's because it's Udo. It's the lead singer Udo Dirkschneider, who's a little German dwarf.
Oh, really? Hey,
he sounds like Brian Johnson. If you ever heard the song, Balls to the Wall? That's Accept, and that's his voice.
Hey, Razor, I gotta ask you this. I know you are like old school, like heavy metal stuff, and I know the genre of movies you really like. Bro, where are you able to find all that stuff? Because, I mean, listen, you can't go into Spence's and find a poster of Accept. Where do you get that stuff, bro?
I got the Accept poster. I want to say there was a local shirt shop called Shirts and Things that used to carry all kinds of metal apparel and stuff. They're gone now, of course. They collapsed during the recession, like a lot of specialty retail places. But they were where I got a lot of my stuff. And then, I pick up other stuff off eBay and so forth, just wherever I can get it, basically.
Yeah, but I bet you a lot of that stuff, Razor, like you couldn't even get. I would guess, no?
Well, metal is back in a way. I mean, you can go on eBay and find shirts and posters and stuff now, whereas if it were the late 90s, I imagine that wasn't so much the case. That's the thing about the record industry collapsing. Everyone can listen to whatever they want, so old stuff is popular again.
Razor, you know what I've been looking for a vinyl of? You're going to laugh at me, right, Razor? Because I'm not a heavy metal guy like you by any stretch of the imagination. But You know what I've been looking for on vinyl? Because I'm a big vinyl guy. You can see my vinyl behind me.
Yeah.
And I saw the documentary, and like I fell in love with them because of the documentary. And you're gonna think I'm like such a mark, bro. You're gonna be one of the guys commenting on our comment section tomorrow for this show. Did you hear what Russo said? You're gonna be one of these guys once I say this. But Reza, I fell in love with the documentary Anvil.
Oh yeah.
Bro,
great band. Band.
Bro, I can't find a vinyl Anvil anywhere, bro.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. They've always been rare, but even it's funny. You would have thought that they would have gotten popular as a result of that, but they really didn't. All it did was make more people that wanted to listen to them, and there's less product. So nobody wound up reprinting any of their stuff. Like I think they put their old albums into new printings, but only on CD.
That's
so it's
ridiculous. Yeah, bro. I can't find it anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, how would you rate that band? I mean, they're like, nickel and dime.
They're fantastic. No, I like Anvil. I wouldn't put them like top 5 all time or anything, but they're fantastic. I've always dug Anvil. They're right up there with like an Accept or a Wasp or something. They're really good.
Yeah, no, I love that documentary. I try to find vinyl and I can't find it. Hey, Razor, I got to tell you something I really enjoy. You got Netflix?
Certainly do.
Razor, you know what I really enjoyed? And bro, I'm not a big fan. But I enjoyed the crap out of it. Razor, can I tell you something about myself? Can we get personal? Razor, I'm a 54-year-old man. You know what I like to do now, Razor, when you get to my age? Razor, I get the nice hot bath. I put Epsom salt in the bath, the Epsom salt, Razor. Then I put bubbles in the bath. Nice
while drinking the Geritol or
not
after?
Usually water because I get dehydrated real easy. Then, Razor, what I do is I put on my iPad, and I got the first edition iPad, so it's like it's like this thick, my iPad. I put that on the counter and I watch the Netflix and I relax. Everybody's got to leave me alone. But you know what I saw in the bubble bath the other day, Razor, that I really enjoyed the crap out of? Keith Richards' documentary. Did you see that?
I've seen that. It looks pretty good. I haven't watched it yet.
And Razor, I got to tell you this. Listen, when you see Keith Richards, I mean, listen, we all know all the jokes. He talk about The Walking Dead. We all get that. But I got to tell you, Razor, he did a lot of singing and stuff in this documentary. Bro, I don't think Keith Richards' voice is half bad.
No, his voice has been maintained perfectly well. It's just he apparently had to exchange the elasticity of his skin in order to retain it. That would be my working theory.
Yeah, but what a good documentary. I mean, very, very good. I really enjoyed that. Okay, let's get back to this, Razor, because you're on number 2 now, bro. We're looking at number 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go, and I think I alluded to her in one of our previous lists, Kelly Hu, who probably most recently would be known for guesting on the show Arrow on the CW. I just want to remind you, she was in films. She's probably best known. She played Lady Deathstrike in the second X-Men movie. She's done a lot of bit parts here and there. She's done some video game stuff, a lot of voice work. But this woman is rounding the corner on 50 years old. 50! But they slap a white wig on her head and cradle her shapely ass in some skin-tight leather. She's melting faces from here to Afghanistan. Like, objectively hotter than any of the 20-something plastic CW underwear models she co-stars with on the show. I've said it before, but it isn't any less true today. This woman is hotter than Thai food. And it's not just her physique, it's those, she has what we alluded to earlier, those smoky noir vixen vocal cords. The kind that could tell you to leap headlong into a wood chipper and you'd still do it with a hard-on. She's just so smoking. And again, almost 50 years old. Just mind-blowing. She hasn't aged a day.
Now, aside the fact that now I got the vision of a hard weenie going into a wood chipper, you know what the funny thing is, Jeff? I got to tell you this. I want to be Razor. I tell you, if I could be Razor, I would want to be Razor. But, Jeff, I find myself, every time we do these shows, it's a little depressing for me because I find myself so far away from Razor because I never know any of the people that he's talking about, bro. So, like, it kind of bursts my bubble because it's like I can never be Razor. We don't even live in the same world. Jeff, do you know who he's talking about?
Yeah.
You watch Arrow, right? You watch Arrow.
No, I don't watch Arrow, but I knew her from the X-Men movies, and the first time I saw her was in the Mummy movie that The Rock did.
Yes, she was also in The Mummy, yeah.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. I cannot, like, that just blew my mind that she's, like, 50 years old. I can't believe that. That's insane.
Unbelievable.
Jeff, are you thinking about the hard weenie in the wood chipper now?
I'm trying not to.
I've got that vision in my mind now.
Careful, you give the people that are making that Fargo show some ideas.
Yeah, well, they put somebody in a wood chipper last week. You see that?
That'll happen.
Yeah, they had it last week. All right, Jeff, number 2.
I did number 2 already. It was Katee Sackhoff.
Oh, that was your number 2.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm real. This is where I embarrass myself to Razor, and I hate it, bro. You know what it is, Razor? You know how like you got the cool kid in school, and then like you want to be the cool kid, and you try to be the cool kid, and you hang around the cool kid, and then like you bring like a lox and hard-boiled egg sandwich to the cafeteria, and like you just blow it off, like the cool kid laughs at you. That's how I am with you when I give these references out, Razor. And I know you're being respectful, bro. Bro. If I was Jim Cornette, you'd be ripping me to Timbuktu with my choices. Admit it, Razor.
That's a good point.
All right, okay. Because now I'm really going to age myself, and Jeff's not even going to know who I'm talking about.
If you were Jim Cornette, though, how would you do this podcast with your head jammed that far up your ass? We would just be hearing the entire time.
Bro, can you imagine Cornette's top 5? I don't even want to get into that, but can you imagine his top 5? Okay, but I shouldn't even say that because I'm about to embarrass myself in front of Razor. Jeff's not going to know who I'm talking about. The only reason Razor's going to know who I'm talking about is because he's a movie buff, and I know he'll know who I'm talking about. And I had to make a number 2. I'm sorry. I had to make her number 2. Razor, I'm talking about policewoman, Pepper, Angie Dickinson, bro. Back in this day, Razor, I mean, I know everybody you're talking about. Listen, I don't think Angie Dickinson butted her buttocks to get in the pants. I don't think she did that. But you, Razor, back in the day, Angie Dickinson, the first really policewoman on TV. Come on, bro. Give me some props.
Okay. All right.
You see?
I'm not going to jump down your throat, but I'm not doing backflips either.
Oh, you see, Razor, I knew it. You see, I could never be like you. Okay, I apologize for my second choice. All right, Jeff, this is number 1. This is it. This is for all the marbles.
Okay.
I think me and Jeff, I'm going to say this. I think me and Jeff may have the same number 1.
No, absolutely not.
Go ahead,
no,
Jeff.
I would bet everything I own you do not.
Okay, good.
I even brought visual aids because I figured you would have no idea who the hell I'm talking about.
Visual aids?
Yes.
My goodness.
My number 1 is Tatiana Maslany, and she's on a show called Orphan Black, okay? And I am a huge mark for Orphan Black. Got all the Blu-rays. I got all the Pop toys. Here's one. I got 2 of them behind me. Anyway, this show, she plays so far, I think she's played 11 different characters. It's a show about clones. And every single character is different. Different look, different accent, different personality, different mannerisms. You watch this and you forget that it is the same actress playing every single role. The girl is phenomenal. The show's phenomenal, and half the characters she plays are badass. One's a psychotic killer. Another one's a tough, street British girl, and she's always getting in fights and punching people. One of them's a cop. Like, I absolutely love her, and she's my number one.
Razor, do you know who he's talking about?
Never seen Orphan Black. Couldn't tell you. She looks attractive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now,
all three of these are her. Like, she plays three different characters, so they're all...
Hey, Jeff, what is that on Orphan Black?
BBC America.
And when is that? When is that on?
It's only on in the spring. It's one of the, how a lot of these new shows, they're just 10 episodes once a year. It's one of those types of shows, so...
The accent, man, the accent might be what does it for you, because I know the accent. I mean, Vince, you had the privilege of writing for this woman. Winter, hello?
Oh, Winter. Oh, my own.
Are you kidding me?
You
woman
kidding
melts
me?
my face.
Oh, my God. All right, Razor,
But Vince, it's on demand. Every episode's on demand that is aired.
Oh, okay, maybe I'll check that, because, I got that. All right, Razor, number one, bro.
Well, I already spoiled it for you guys.
Pam Anderson, number one?
Oh, come on. Is there anyone more iconic on any of our lists than Pam Anderson? Maybe Farrah Fawcett. But still, Pam Anderson deserves a very high spot. I mean, and granted, in the modern day, Pam may have jumped the silicone shark about 9 nips and 7 tucks ago, around the time she had those flesh zeppelins grafted to her ribcage. But in the 90s, bitch, please. She was so searingly hot in VIP, it took a solid week for my eyebrows to grow back in.
Yeah.
I ran around looking like Whoopi Goldberg with a heart-on for most of the 90s. I had no eyebrows. When Baywatch debuted, I made my first $1 million by taking out stock in Lubriderm and Kleenex. And I lost my first $1 million when I financed Barbed Wire. But hey, screw you, that movie was a cinematic masterpiece.
Oh, yeah. Well, bro, the fact that she was butt naked in it the first 2 minutes of the movie, I mean, that's you could have shut it right there.
Oh,
bro.
it's post-apocalyptic. Cinematic masterpiece. It's Lawrence of Areola. Granted, not with the genitalia of my mortal enemy would I consider sleeping with it. Like, this woman's crotch has accrued more disease. I mean, it's like the Ganges of crotches.
And not only that,
but it's not her fault. In her defense, it's not her fault. I mean, between Kid Rock, Bret Michaels, and Tommy Lee, this woman has screwed more rock stars than Napster. Like, if the Geneva Convention ever lifts the ban on biological warfare, I'm pretty sure they'll just drop Tommy Lee on Iran. That's just what'll happen.
but Razor, I gotta say
Pamela
this.
Anderson.
I want to ask you this, though.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, but see, now, Razor, I got to ask you this. Razor, I don't think she's aged well, though, man. Have you seen her recently?
Like I said, she jumped the nip tuck shark. She definitely did.
Yeah, okay.
No question.
Now, Razor, I don't know if you've watched this show. I know Jeff and I have watched this show, and she jumps to the top. She's a badass. You know, it's more badass than hotness. She's hot, don't get me wrong, but she's badass. Razor, have you watched this new show, Blindspot?
I haven't.
This Jamie Alexander. You know who Jamie Alexander is? Jeff, what else has she been in you could tell Razor?
Have you seen the Thor movies?
Yes.
She's Lady Civ.
Oh, okay, yeah. She's smoking.
Razor, but not the smoking. She was like her background. Razor, the story with Blindspot is that I think you'll like. Bro, it opens up with there's this duffel bag in the middle of New York City. So they clear the streets and everybody. Of course, there's somebody left it there. They think there's a bomb. A woman comes out of this duffel bag tattooed from head to toe. Okay, yeah. And bro, it's Jamie Alexander. She don't know her name. She don't know how the tattoos got there. She knows nothing. So they refer to her as Jane Doe. Every one of her tattoos is a clue to who she is. So one of the clues we found out early on is she used to be a Navy SEAL. So Razor, she gets in fight scenes in this show, right, Jeff? She just freaking kicks everybody's backside, bro.
Yeah, she's badass.
Yeah. Razor, you got to watch it. I know I can't add to your life. Look, Razor, listen, I'm a 54-year-old man. Okay? Razor, listen, you got your room there. I got Fred Flintstone sitting on my desk. All right? So we know what we're talking about. But, Razor, I think I can turn you on to this show, Blindspot, and Jamie Alexander.
And her haircut, Razor, like the way they got her hair in this show, it's like the best haircut for her, like smoking hot, man.
I'm not contesting it. I have not seen it, so I have to watch it to judge. And believe me, once I watch it, I will judge.
I think you'll like her, Razor. I'm curious. Now, listen. I gotta ask you this because I love having Razor on this show. But like, what's our next category gonna be? We done TV, we done movies, we done rock. What's our next category gonna be?
Porn.
Razor,
My goodness.
Razor, are you a porn guy?
You know what I would go with?
What's
personally, as a nerd? Comic book superheroine.
That's what I would. I would be all over that as well.
But now, what? Animated?
No, just comic book superheroine. You know, it could be Supergirl or Catwoman, or it could be Storm or whoever.
Yeah,
so a fictional character.
Big reflection, but there's a picture of her from Blindspot.
Yeah, that's Jamie Alexander. Show it again, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of reflection from my window, but...
Yeah. So, Razor, you're talking about fictional characters.
Yeah, why not? They're icons.
Okay. Razor, you know what would be another funny one I think we could do? Cause I brought up Jim Cornette a couple of minutes ago, but you know what would be a funny one? Country music stars, female.
Well, mine would totally be based on hotness. That's it. I don't like country music, so like I'll just pick 5 hot country chicks. That's who would make my list.
Jeff, do you have a category? Because I like Razors. I threw to country music because I just want to hear Razors references to Dolly Parton's boobs. That could be like a whole show. So that's why we can do that one. Do you have any, Jeff? You said porn. Jeff, I'm not a porn guy.
No, I'm not either.
Are you a porn guy, Razor?
Not exceptionally. You know, I would watch the odd Skinamax flick every now and then back in the day. Back when Skinamax had now they're trying to be a serious like art house channel, which is what the hell, Cinemax? What are you doing?
Razor, you want to hear something funny? My father's 84 years old, right?
Yeah.
And bro, listen, I had to a couple of months ago, I had to go to the cable company. It was pouring rain outside. I got the box. I drove all the way home. The box didn't work. I had to go back in the pouring rain. And Jeff knows me. So I'm getting something out of this deal now. I came back twice. Now I'm getting something out of this deal. So, Razor, I got the 3 months of Showtime, right?
Oh.
And Razor, they have the, soft porn, like whatever you want to call it. It kicks in at 11 o'clock at night, right? So, bro, listen, my father's 84 years old. Razor, like, my father, like, bro, like the turtle, and you got to wave the apple in front of the turtle for it to pop its head out? That's like what you got to do with my father. You got to wave the apple and hope something comes out at 84 years old. There's nothing left, right? So I tell my father at 84 years old about this Showtime. I think I'm doing him a favor. Bro, would you believe now he goes to bed with my mother when she's asleep at 85 years old. He gets up in the middle of the night and goes and sits there and watches Showtime.
The man has still got game at 84.
Yeah, but then he tells me I don't even know what I'm wasting my time for anymore. I can't get it up. Do I really want to hear that from my 84-year-old father?
Hey, you could rig up a pulley system. Whatever you get enjoyment out of.
So, listen, that's it, gentlemen. Razor, listen, since we have you here, any last words of wisdom whatsoever on any topic? What do you got for me?
No, absolutely. My list is correct and yours are wrong.
And that's it. And Razor, I would assume that you're probably excited tonight because, listen, we're a mere hours away from you sitting down and getting ready for a 3-hour Raw. So you're probably excited about that, aren't you?
Yeah, especially after that fantastic Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, which I wouldn't have known about if the WWE hadn't sent me 19 trillion emails telling me that they want my business back because I canceled it like 3 months ago.
Did you watch the pay-per-view?
I heard what happened. I did not bother watching. Who does?
Yeah, no, I know, Razor. It's tough, bro. It's tough. Yeah. Well, Razor, anything else? What do you want to promote these days? Razor, when are we getting a new video, man?
Whenever I feel inspired to do it.
It's been a long time, Razor.
It has actually been a long time since I did a wrestling-related video, but I just thought of an idea for one the other day. So,
can you give us like a little sneak peek into the mind of Razorfist?
No.
Okay, well, that makes me look more forward to it than anything else. Razor, tell them where to follow you, your website, your Twitter address, and all that stuff.
The Twitter is Razorfist, one word with a 0 instead of an O. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com/the Rageaholic, one word, so you're good to go on that front. So that's pretty much where you can beard me, folks.
Razor, did you watch Seinfeld? Were you a Seinfeld guy?
One of these.
Okay.
Some of that.
Jeff, can you please lay out for Razor the video that you sent me yesterday that you and I have become? Me and you are this, because I don't see Razor as the third man in the booth. Tell Razor what you and I have become.
I'm watching the pay-per-view last night, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Why do I do this to myself? And I thought of that episode of Seinfeld when George and Jerry at the coffee shop, and Jerry's like, what are we doing? What kind of lives are these? Like, we're not men, you know what I mean? And that's exactly what I thought about, like, of us just sitting down and watching this wrestling every night.
Why do you even get up in the morning? I like to get the daily news.
Well, you know what? Razor just gave me a great idea. Now that he pulled down his Seinfeld, and you could see him behind Jeff, and I'm a Seinfeld mark. Hey, how about a show, Jerry's top 5 vixens that he dated?
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
There's been a lot of research.
Man, was there a hot chick left in the 90s that he didn't rail?
Right, exactly.
And were any of them of age? Were a single one of them old enough?
That'd be a tremendous show. I can tell you right now off the bat, number 1. Come on, fellas.
Oh.
Wait, are we talking from the show or in real life?
From the show. His dates on the show. He had a different date every show, and they were all famous women.
There were so many. I would have to go through every single one because I would forget somebody.
Jeff, somebody has to come to your mind immediately. Both of you guys.
Well, it's not Janine Garofalo.
No. Terry Hatcher.
Yeah.
Hell, wasn't even Meryl Streep on that show once? Jesus.
Terry Hatcher, yeah, they're real and they're spectacular.
Oh my God, Terry Hatcher in that show was unbelievable, bro. She's another one that didn't age very well. Well, listen, Razor, I could keep you here all day. That goes without saying. You know that, but I know you're a very, very busy man. But I want to thank you for doing this third installment of Vixens Who Rule, and we look very, very forward to the next one.
Definitely, I do too. Godspeed.
Right. Godspeed from Razor. Jeff Lane, as always, thank you very much. We hope you enjoy the show, and we will be back tomorrow, Jeff and myself, with Raw, what it was good for. Razor, we stopped watching Raw, and we review the Attitude Era episodes. How sad are we, bro?
I think you guys need to further reference the war song by saying absolutely nothing. At the very end.
You see, he knows the song, Jeff.
I think that's what needs to happen.
All right, well, fellas, thanks. Great show. Thank you for joining us here on The Brand. We'll see you tomorrow.
Critically acclaimed producers Kayfabe Commentaries bring you the most candid shoot interview ever with Sabu, nephew of the legendary Sheik.
Would your aunt be talking business
of course
with the Sheik?
Oh, yeah. And Carney. She can speak Carney better than me.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Prepare to explore the darkest corners of the man behind Sabu.
I would have stopped pain pills entirely if I was out of pain. Because I've been a little too long at the dance myself.
You feel now you've been too long at the dance.
Breaking Kayfabe with Terry Sabu Brunk, now available on DVD and on demand at shootinterviews.com.